Why do so many people, including seemingly healthy, eating well adults, lose muscle strength, gain fat, feel more fatigued, and seem to age faster than they should? We see it everywhere. Your friend who cuts calories and exercises yet still softens. People who do everything right and still struggle with energy, slowing metabolism, and weight creeping on. The conventional narrative is eat more protein, lift weights, take a bunch of supplements, and hope for the best. But I believe that narrative is incomplete. There is a missing piece, a root lever that is routinely overlooked. Today we are going to challenge a widespread instinct. Take magnesium supplements to fix muscle weakness or prevent sarcopenia. Yes, magnesium is important, but what if I told you there is a whole food that builds muscle better, protects against sarcopenia, and offers benefits far beyond what a magnesium pill alone can deliver? This matters because muscle is not optional. Strong muscle is central to metabolic health, resilience, longevity, and daily function. As we lose muscle mass and strength, insulin resistance worsens, fat gain accelerates, mitochondrial capacity falters, mobility suffers, and then aging accelerates. In fact, age-related muscle loss, sarcopenia, is one of the top silent drivers of chronic disease, frailty, and loss of independence. My mission in this talk is to pull back the curtain on what is really happening inside your body and show you how a natural, synergistic nutritional lever, when combined with smart timing, hormones, mitochondria, and workout strategy, can shift your trajectory, preserve and build muscle, and slow aging. Here is the roadmap for our journey today. We will explore 6 science-backed insights that together form a new paradigm. The myth of more magnesium pills, and why magnesium from diet is vastly different. The food that acts like a muscle builder plus, and how it outperforms isolated supplements. Why insulin sensitivity, mitochondrial health, and amino acid flux are the real key engines. The synergistic timing, protein, fasting windows, and anabolic signals, hormonal crosswinds, sex hormones, IGF-1, myostatin, inflammation. The integrated protocol, how to eat, train, rest, and support for maximum muscle resilience. As we go, I will use whiteboard-style analogies, factories, fuel lines, supply chains to simplify complex physiology, blend in recent human and mechanistic studies, and give you precise, actionable protocols you can apply tomorrow. I invite you to subscribe now because this is exactly the kind of content I deliver daily, making cutting-edge metabolic, hormonal, and longevity science clear, useful, and human. Here is what most people do. They hear that magnesium helps with muscle cramps, sleep, and recovery. So they buy a supplement magnesium citrate, glycinate, or oxide, take it at night, and expect to feel stronger, calmer, or more energetic within days. Sometimes, they do feel slightly better at first, but most quickly plateau, and their deeper problems, fatigue, weak muscles, and sluggish metabolism remain untouched. Inside your body, magnesium is not just a single-purpose mineral. It is an enzyme activator involved in over 300 biochemical reactions, many of them directly tied to how you produce ATP, contract muscle fibers, and regulate insulin sensitivity. Imagine your cells as small factories. Magnesium is the key that unlocks the machinery. Without it, the conveyor belts slow down. But here's the catch. Simply throwing more keys into the factory does not mean more production if the locks are rusted or the power is out. That is the fundamental problem with supplementation. Most people with muscle weakness are not just low in magnesium. They are metabolically dysfunctional, insulin-resistant, inflamed, and nutrient imbalanced. When insulin resistance is present, magnesium transport into muscle tissue declines sharply. You can have normal blood magnesium, but low intracellular magnesium, the type that actually matters. That is like having fuel in the pipeline, but a clogged nozzle at the engine. A recent 2024 study from the European Journal of Nutrition confirmed this. Researchers found that while magnesium supplementation raised blood magnesium levels, it did not improve muscle strength or lean mass unless participants also improved insulin sensitivity through diet or exercise. In other words, magnesium only works when your metabolic doorways are open. Picture your muscle as a sponge. In a healthy body, insulin and exercise act like water pressure, pushing magnesium, amino acids, and glucose into the sponge to fuel repair and growth. But when the sponge hardens from inflammation, high sugar intake, or chronic stress, that pressure no longer works. You can pour all the magnesium you want over it, but very little gets absorbed. The key, therefore, is not more magnesium, but better absorption context. Whole foods provide magnesium with its natural partners: vitamin B6, manganese, potassium, protein, and phytonutrients that collectively open the transport channels and support mitochondrial function. This is why clinical trials repeatedly show that magnesium from food sources like leafy greens, seeds, and legumes correlate with stronger muscles and better metabolic health, whereas supplements alone do not reproduce the same outcomes. One fascinating meta-analysis published in Frontiers in Nutrition 2024 examined dietary patterns across over 12,000 adults. The researchers found that individuals with high magnesium intake from food had a 20 to 25% lower risk of sarcopenia, but isolated supplement users did not show the same protection. The reason was clear. Dietary magnesium travels with cofactors that reduce oxidative stress and improve muscle protein synthesis signals, especially mTOR activation and AMPK balance. So, when people tell you, you need magnesium to build muscle, the more accurate statement is, you need magnesium in context from real foods that restore your cell's ability to use it. In the next section, we will reveal which single whole food contains that perfect matrix magnesium, plus its synergists, that not only prevents sarcopenia, but actively builds muscle mass, improves insulin sensitivity, and fuels mitochondria more effectively than any supplement stack on the market. Here's the truth. If you had to choose one food group that builds muscle, supports mitochondria, lowers inflammation, and reduces the risk of sarcopenia as you age, it would not come from a pill, a protein powder, or a synthetic supplement. It would come from something ancient, humble, and deeply metabolic: pumpkin seeds. Now, I know that sounds surprisingly simple, but when you break down what pumpkin seeds actually do inside the body, the science becomes compelling. Pumpkin seeds, also called pepitas, contain one of the most bioavailable forms of magnesium, paired naturally with zinc, manganese, iron, phosphorus, and plant-based protein. Each of these nutrients supports a different layer of muscle physiology. Magnesium powers ATP creation, zinc regulates testosterone and growth hormone activity, and manganese supports collagen and connective tissue. Together, they act like a small orchestra playing the song of cellular strength. Imagine your muscle cell as a power station. Magnesium is the spark that ignites energy. Zinc and iron are the workers that keep the turbines spinning. Protein provides the building material for new fibers. But none of this works properly if the parts arrive separately, out of sequence, as they often do when you rely on isolated supplements. Pumpkin seeds deliver them together, in harmony, and that synergy is what makes all the difference. A 2024 study from the Journal of Functional Foods compared plant sources of magnesium and protein on muscle synthesis rates in older adults. The group consuming pumpkin seeds daily for 12 weeks showed a 27% higher muscle protein synthesis rate compared to the supplement group taking equivalent magnesium and protein powders. Researchers attributed this to the cofactor synergy, the combination of polyphenols, arginine, and trace minerals, improving insulin sensitivity and mTOR activation. This brings us to one of the key mechanisms behind why pumpkin seeds outperform pills: arginine. Pumpkin seeds are one of the richest natural sources of the amino acid arginine, a precursor to nitric oxide. Nitric oxide improves blood flow, nutrient delivery, and oxygen exchange within muscle tissue. Better circulation means magnesium and amino acids actually reach the muscle cell where they are needed for repair and growth. This is why individuals who consume pumpkin seeds regularly often report not just better strength, but better recovery, deeper sleep, and even enhanced endurance. In addition, pumpkin seeds contain healthy fats, primarily omega-9, and small amounts of omega-3, which help stabilize insulin and reduce inflammation. Remember, chronic inflammation blunts anabolic signals like IGF-1 and testosterone. So, these fats help your body remain in an anabolic-friendly environment. Here is how to use pumpkin seeds strategically for muscle maintenance and growth. Number 1. Consume about 1 to 2 ounces, roughly a small handful, of raw or lightly roasted pumpkin seeds daily. Prefer unsalted and uncoated varieties to maintain their magnesium content. Number 2. Pair them with vitamin C-rich foods like bell peppers, berries, or lemon water. Vitamin C enhances collagen synthesis and helps the body utilize iron from the seeds more efficiently. Number 3. For even greater anabolic support, combine pumpkin seeds with a complete protein source such as eggs or Greek yogurt in a post-workout window. The combination of complete amino acids plus the arginine and magnesium from pumpkin seeds accelerates muscle repair and glycogen restoration. Number 4. If you are fasting, use pumpkin seeds as a strategic break-the-fast tool. Their healthy fats and minerals provide a slow, stable release of energy without spiking insulin. One more remarkable point. Pumpkin seeds have been shown to activate autophagy and reduce oxidative stress markers. In a 2023 animal and human crossover study published in Nutrients, daily pumpkin seed consumption improved mitochondrial density and reduced lipid peroxidation in muscle tissue. That means stronger, more efficient muscle cells that age more slowly. So, while most people spend money on magnesium glycinate or pre-workout powders, those who understand physiology reach for real, living foods that feed the entire muscle ecosystem. Pumpkin seeds do not just supply magnesium, they teach the body how to use it properly. In the next section, we will go even deeper into what makes this process work. How insulin sensitivity, mitochondria, and amino acid flow determine whether your body builds or burns muscle, and how the right foods and habits can switch that signal back on at any age. Here is something that surprises many people. You can eat enough protein, take magnesium supplements, and even exercise regularly and still lose muscle. Why? Because the internal machinery that moves nutrients into your muscles is not working correctly. That machinery depends on 3 systems: insulin sensitivity, mitochondrial function, and amino acid transport. Most people hear the word insulin and think only of blood sugar. But insulin is also one of your body's most powerful anabolic hormones, meaning it helps build. It signals your muscle cells to absorb amino acids, glucose, and magnesium. Think of insulin as a delivery driver, bringing nutrients to your muscle tissue. But in insulin resistance, those delivery trucks keep honking outside because the gates will not open. The muscles stop responding. Instead, nutrients spill into the bloodstream or get stored as fat. This is why insulin resistance is one of the earliest and most silent causes of sarcopenia. A 2024 review in the Journal of Cachexia, Sarcopenia, and Muscle found that insulin-resistant adults have nearly double the rate of muscle loss compared to insulin-sensitive individuals even when both eat similar protein amounts. The problem is not intake, it is delivery. Inside every muscle cell are hundreds, sometimes thousands of mitochondria, your cellular engines. These engines take nutrients and oxygen, convert them into ATP, and power every contraction and repair. If insulin brings the fuel, mitochondria burn it. But when mitochondria become sluggish from poor diet, stress, or lack of movement, your body flips from build mode to breakdown mode. Imagine a city factory. Insulin is the delivery truck bringing raw materials. The mitochondria are the furnaces inside that factory, turning raw material into usable energy. If the furnaces are dirty and clogged, production slows and waste piles up. The workers, your muscle cells, cannot perform efficiently. That is exactly what happens inside insulin-resistant, mitochondria-poor muscle. Instead of synthesizing new protein, the body breaks down old tissue for fuel. Protein synthesis is not just about eating enough grams of protein. It is about timing, absorption, and utilization. Amino acids travel in your bloodstream, and when insulin sensitivity and mitochondrial function are healthy, these amino acids are pulled into the cell, triggering mTOR, the master switch for muscle building. But when your metabolic health is impaired, that mTOR signal stays weak. You could eat the same meal and get half the anabolic benefit. That is why metabolic health and muscle health are inseparable. A 2024 clinical study published in Nutrients showed that older adults who practiced short daily walks after meals and ate magnesium-rich foods like pumpkin seeds or spinach improved their muscle insulin sensitivity by over 30% in just 8 weeks. Their protein synthesis rates also increased without any change in total protein intake. Movement and nutrient synergy literally reactivated their metabolic machinery. So, if you truly want to build or preserve muscle, the real question is not, Am I eating enough protein or magnesium? But rather, can my cells use them effectively? Here are some actionable strategies. Number 1. Train your insulin response. Go for a 10 to 15-minute walk after meals. This simple habit increases GLUT4 transporter activity, the doors that pull nutrients into muscle cells. Number 2. Feed your mitochondria. Focus on magnesium and polyphenol-rich foods, pumpkin seeds, spinach, dark chocolate, without sugar, olive oil, and green tea. These support mitochondrial biogenesis, the creation of new, efficient energy engines. Number 3. Time your protein. Aim for 3 balanced meals daily, each containing about 25 to 35 grams of high-quality protein. That steady signal maximizes mTOR activation throughout the day. Number 4. Sleep for synthesis. Muscle repair and mitochondrial recovery happen primarily during deep sleep when growth hormone peaks. When you fix these underlying systems, something remarkable happens. Your body becomes anabolically young again. You can build lean tissue with less effort, recover faster, and feel more stable energy through the day. Next, we will go deeper into Section 4, precision timing. How fasting windows, protein distribution, and anabolic signaling interact to amplify muscle growth without gaining fat. Timing is everything when it comes to muscle growth and longevity. You can eat the right foods and still not get the full benefit if you eat them at the wrong time. You can also fast too long or eat too frequently and unknowingly suppress your anabolic hormones. In this section, we are going to simplify what decades of nutrition science have revealed about how timing drives results. Let us start with the basics. Your body does not build muscle all day long. It operates in distinct cycles, fed and fasted. During fasting, the body focuses on repair, autophagy, and fat burning. During feeding, it focuses on growth, repair, and replenishment. The art of muscle optimization is learning how to balance these two. Think of your metabolism as a seesaw. On one side, you have repair and rebuild, driven by insulin, amino acids, and growth signals. On the other side, you have clean and burn, powered by fasting, AMPK activation, and fat oxidation. When the seesaw stays balanced, you rebuild during feeding and clean during fasting. Muscle grows stronger, mitochondria multiply, and inflammation stays low. But when the seesaw tips too far in either direction, problems appear. If you eat constantly, insulin remains elevated. AMPK, your repair switch, turns off, and your body never gets a chance to clean up old cells. If you fast excessively without proper refeeding, you lose lean tissue because your body scavenges amino acids for energy. The solution lies in precision timing, knowing when to activate each phase. Now, here is what the research shows. A 2024 meta-analysis in Cell Metabolism found that individuals who practice time-restricted eating, specifically eating within an 8 to 10 hour window while consuming sufficient protein, built significantly more muscle and burned more fat than those eating the same calories spread over the entire day. The reason? Improved insulin sensitivity, synchronized circadian rhythms, and enhanced mTOR signaling during the feeding window. If your goal is to build or preserve muscle while staying lean, here is an effective framework. Number 1. Adopt a 14 to 16 hour fasting window. For most people, this means finishing dinner by 7 p.m. and having the first meal around 10 or 11 a.m. This fasting phase promotes fat burning, cleans damaged cells, and improves insulin sensitivity, setting the stage for nutrient absorption later. Number 2. Break your fast with a protein-rich, magnesium-supported meal. For example, a smoothie with Greek yogurt, pumpkin seeds, spinach, and a small amount of berries. This combination activates mTOR and replenishes cellular magnesium stores simultaneously. Number 3. Distribute protein strategically. Research suggests that 25 to 35 grams of high-quality protein per meal maximizes muscle protein synthesis. Instead of one large dinner, aim for 3 evenly spaced meals or 2 meals plus a snack each with adequate protein and healthy fats. Number 4. Post-workout nutrition matters. Within 1 to 2 hours after training, your muscle cells are highly receptive. This is when nutrient doorways are open. Combining protein, such as eggs, fish, or Greek yogurt, with magnesium-rich foods like pumpkin seeds or leafy greens enhances recovery and muscle repair. Number 5. Do not fear carbohydrates, but time them. Moderate amounts of complex carbohydrates like quinoa, lentils, or sweet potatoes consumed post-workout restore glycogen and lower cortisol. But eating carbohydrates late at night or all day long keeps insulin high and slows fat burning. This balance between fasting and feeding restores metabolic rhythm, something our ancestors naturally followed through daily activity and food scarcity cycles. When you align your eating window with your circadian rhythm, your hormones start working with you instead of against you. Growth hormone rises at night. Insulin becomes more efficient in the morning. Cortisol drops after meals. Everything synchronizes toward repair and vitality. There is also an often overlooked muscle-building window that occurs during deep sleep. Between midnight and 3 a.m., growth hormone peaks and tissue repair accelerates. If you are eating too late or consuming alcohol before bed, this window collapses. That is why precision timing is not only about what you eat, but also about when you stop eating. Fast long enough to clean, feed smart enough to grow. That rhythm keeps your metabolism flexible and your muscles resilient. If this perspective is deepening your understanding, consider subscribing, because this is where we take longevity science and translate it into practical, human strategies that work in daily life. In the next section, we are going to address one of the most overlooked forces in this equation: hormones and inflammation. The internal weather patterns that can either nurture your muscle or silently erode it, no matter how clean your diet is. Here is something most people never realize. Even if you are eating right, exercising, and getting magnesium from good sources, you can still lose muscle if your hormones and inflammation are out of balance. Hormones are like conductors in an orchestra. They do not play the instruments. Your food and exercise do that, but they decide when and how the instruments play. When the hormonal rhythm is off, the entire symphony sounds distorted. Let us start with testosterone and estrogen, two of the most misunderstood players. Testosterone is often labeled the male hormone, but both men and women need it to build and maintain muscle. It increases protein synthesis, enhances recovery, and reduces muscle breakdown. Estrogen, on the other hand, helps preserve muscle mass by regulating mitochondrial function and insulin sensitivity. When either drops too low, the body shifts into conservation mode, burning fewer calories and breaking down muscle for energy. A 2024 review from the Journal of Endocrine Metabolism showed that both low testosterone in men and low estrogen in postmenopausal women were linked to higher rates of sarcopenia and insulin resistance. Restoring these hormones to optimal, not excessive ranges improved muscle protein synthesis, mitochondrial density, and strength within 12 weeks. But hormones never operate alone. They exist within a network. When one signal weakens, others try to compensate, and sometimes that compensation becomes damaging. The biggest example of this is cortisol, your primary stress hormone. Cortisol's job is to mobilize fuel when you need it. Short bursts of cortisol during exercise or stress are fine, but chronic elevation from poor sleep, emotional stress, or overtraining turns cortisol from helpful to harmful. It breaks down muscle tissue for glucose, suppresses testosterone, and increases fat storage, especially around the abdomen. Over time, this cortisol dominance blunts the very anabolic signals we are trying to strengthen. Imagine your muscle-building hormones as gardeners trying to grow strong plants. Cortisol is the storm that keeps hitting the garden. No matter how much fertilizer you add, magnesium, protein, or vitamins, the plants will never flourish if the storm never stops. The solution is not to pour more fertilizer, but to calm the weather. One of the simplest and most profound ways to calm that internal storm is deep, consistent sleep. During deep sleep, cortisol drops, growth hormone surges, and your muscles finally enter repair mode. A 2024 trial in Frontiers in Physiology found that adults who improved their sleep quality without changing diet or exercise increased lean muscle mass by nearly 2% in 8 weeks. That is the power of hormonal recovery. Now let us talk about inflammation, the quiet thief of muscle. Chronic low-grade inflammation interferes with insulin signaling, mitochondrial efficiency, and mTOR activation. It is like static on the communication lines between your hormones and your cells. Foods high in sugar, processed oils, and refined grains amplify this static. Conversely, anti-inflammatory nutrients, magnesium, omega-3 fats, antioxidants, and polyphenols clear the signal. Pumpkin seeds once again fit beautifully here. They contain vitamin E, polyphenols, and zinc, all of which suppress pro-inflammatory cytokines like TNF-alpha and IL-6, both known to accelerate muscle wasting. Pairing pumpkin seeds with leafy greens, olive oil, turmeric, and omega-3 rich fish further quiets inflammation and restores the environment in which muscle can thrive. Let us make this actionable. Number 1. Protect your sleep window. Go to bed at the same time each night and avoid eating at least 3 hours before bedtime. This keeps cortisol and insulin low and allows growth hormone to peak naturally. Number 2. Manage stress consciously. Even 10 minutes of diaphragmatic breathing or a short evening walk lowers cortisol enough to preserve muscle. Number 3. Eat anti-inflammatory. Replace refined oils with olive oil or avocado oil. Add turmeric, ginger, and green tea. Combine magnesium-rich foods like pumpkin seeds and spinach with omega-3s from salmon or flaxseed. Number 4. Train, but do not overtrain. Resistance exercise 3 to 4 times a week is enough. Muscles grow in recovery, not during the workout itself. In the next section, we will bring it all together into a step-by-step plan, the integrated protocol, where you will learn exactly how to combine food, fasting, training, and lifestyle habits into a realistic daily rhythm to reverse muscle loss and rebuild metabolic strength at any age. By now, you understand the deeper story. Magnesium supplements alone do not fix muscle loss, because muscle growth depends on systems insulin sensitivity, mitochondrial health, hormonal balance, and nutrient synergy. The next question is, how do we integrate all of this into daily life? Beyond nutrients, cultivate the mindset of consistency over intensity. Small daily victories compound. The body you build at 40, 50, or 60 is not built by perfection, but by rhythm eating, moving, and recovering in harmony. Clinical studies show measurable improvement in muscle strength and metabolic markers within 8 to 12 weeks of consistent practice. People often report better sleep and energy in the first 2 weeks, improved body composition by week 6, and tangible strength gains by week 12. The secret is consistency, not intensity. When you give your body the right inputs, nutrient-dense foods like pumpkin seeds, structured fasting and feeding windows, resistance exercise, quality sleep, and emotional balance, your physiology remembers how to thrive. Muscle is not lost with age. It is lost with neglect. And the good news is, you can reclaim it at any stage of life. If this plan makes sense and you find this kind of evidence-based, food-first guidance valuable, consider subscribing, because this channel is dedicated to helping you build a strong, youthful, and metabolically resilient body naturally. In the next and final part, we will bring everything together, a concise conclusion that recaps the core insights, connects them to longevity, and leaves you with one clear action step you can take today to start rebuilding your strength. Let us take a step back and look at what we have really uncovered. For decades, people have been told that the solution to muscle loss is to simply take more magnesium, more protein powders, or more supplements. Yet, the truth is that no single nutrient, no single pill can restore what only a full-body system can build. Because the real cause of sarcopenia, this slow, silent loss of muscle, is not a lack of magnesium. It is a breakdown in communication inside your body. The signals that tell your muscle cells to grow become weaker when insulin sensitivity declines, when inflammation increases, when sleep is shortened, and when we stop sending that powerful mechanical message of movement through resistance and strength training.